I am so excited to be having another conversation with a beautiful certified mastering the brain game coach. Danielle, thank you for being here and having a conversation with me today.
My pleasure.
So tell us a little bit, what was life like before you ever took the brain game?
I took the brain game concurrently with mind shift, so it's a
Mhm.
little hard for me to sort out exactly what part was brain game, but
A
I'll
little
do
bit of
the
all of
best
it.
I can. Before I entered into this material, I would say life was heavy.
Mm,
Like, I had done quite a bit of personal development and had made some major changes about where my life was going, but it felt like I was slogging through it, right?
yeah. And so, after brain game and mind shift and all of the things, the big shift, we'll call it. What's life like for you after?
Oh, it's much lighter, it's much easier, it's, more joyful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And what do you think are some of the key things from the brain game that made it lighter and easier and more joyful?
The main thing from the brain game for me, like the part that really stood out when I did it the first time, and there were a lot of parts that I didn't get the first time I did it, but I really got the drama triangle.
Yeah.
And to be able to choose peace, to have the ability to escape the drama triangle, and
Mhm.
also to have some grace with myself for being in it because I just hadn't had that information previously.
I love that. Yes, having grace for ourselves because, we've been trained by society to numb it, dumb it, drug it, Netflix it, feed it, get rid of it, shove it under the carpet.
Or
And I think,
blame it.
or blame it. Right? I
Blame it
can't
on
do
somebody
that
else.
because I'm angry. Yeah, I love that so much. And the drama triangle is definitely a very powerful tool to help you choose peace. And peace is one of your
That's
number
my
one
gig.
words.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I love that.
And that was what really you're gonna ask me, so I'm just gonna tell you, attracted
Yeah.
me to get certified is that it was such a beautiful addition to how to choose peace. It was such an easy presentation and progression through the divine timing cycle of actually choosing a life that you want to live, that brings you peace, that feels in alignment, that allows you to be joyful.
Yeah. Yeah, so powerful. So, yeah, I was going to ask you that question. So I'm glad that you answered it. It's like you're reading my mind, Danielle. I love it. So, tell us a little bit. What was your experience like in boot camp?
That was an interesting experience for me prior to actually teaching. I had a very physical reaction to claiming that I was going to be a facilitator for this material,
Mhm.
and I really had to just allow it. Just allow that to be and to say, "I'm gonna do this anyway," and then to have the support of the other facilitators that were going through it, and both you and Joy through, that was huge. It made it so as soon as I was done with that beta round of teaching and we were teaching within the training, then I was confident that I could do that and that I did. So, it
Yeah.
was huge for me.
I love that. I love that. And I think that's, I've heard that from numerous coaches is that then you have the confidence to go do it again and do it again and
Yes,
do it again. You just replicate it.
yes. I feel like that was a brilliant piece of the boot camp is to just throw us in there. "You gotta do it. Okay, we're doing it."
Just throw you in the deep end of the pool. And then
Yep,
what did Arlene say in her interview? It was like, we're the water wings for you guys.
right.
I love that. So you had a very physical experience when you decided to become a brain game coach. What was it like teaching your very first session of brain game during that boot camp?
I had chosen very carefully just one person to do my beta round with, and I was very confident that she was going to be encouraging and not critical, and she was ready for the material, and so really that it was much more major before that than it was the first one. I was pretty
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with her and with the material and with all the training and support you had given us up to that point.
I love that. And yeah, I mean, we might throw you in the deep end of the pool, but you get to decide who you teach.
Yes. And how many, you know?
And how many exactly? Yeah, so I know some people prefer to teach in groups, but you and I both prefer to teach privately. I think we like a little combination of both sometimes. But
Yeah.
when we work privately, we get to deep dive with them and really get.
Yeah, and she said the one-on-one because she repeated with a group, and
Mhm.
she said the one-on-one was magical.
Aw, I love that.
Yeah.
So you walk her through this 10-week journey in boot camp and you get to the final session that you're about to teach. What was it like teaching week 10 of the brain game?
Mm. I didn't wanna teach it. I had taken the brain game from someone else, and we were going through the material with Joy's presentation, and
Mm,
everything in me was like, "I'm just gonna let Joy do this one because this is just a little bit beyond my scope. I'm just gonna show her Joy's presentation of it, and it'll be all good,"
mhm.
and I decided not to do that, thank goodness, because that ended up being the one that you chose for that round for us to turn in. So
Yep.
had I done that, I might not have been a certified facilitator. I might have bailed on 1 week and been done.
Mm. Yeah, and so, in week 10 of Brain Game, we get pretty sciency and pretty deep down the rabbit hole. And I think that's like a testament to your commitment to doing it, that you were going to teach it anyways, even though you couldn't teach it like Joy. I can't teach
Right.
it like Joy. Nobody can teach it like Joy. You can't teach it like me. Nobody can teach it like me, right? But I can't teach it like you do.
And I think that's the beauty of it when we were in the training, Joy said something to the effect of, "We don't teach this from memory, we teach it with memory." And
Yes.
that was so freeing for me because then I knew that I was gonna say what that particular container needed to hear. And I
Yes.
didn't have to plan it out, and I just had to show up with the material. I'm familiar with the material and deliver what needs to be delivered in that moment. So it every time is different,
Mhm.
and it depends partly on where you are in your understanding of it, but also on the container that you have for that particular round.
Yeah, I love that. I
Mhm.
love that. So you work with horses. I know this to be true. How do you work with horses and the brain game together?
I haven't actually done sessions with the horses. I
Mhm.
offered a bonus the first time to come to the farm and do, sort of an ending thing, but because I offered it in the fall and it ended right before the holidays, and we have winter in Michigan and we have the holidays, and it just never happened, but that's
Mm,
my plan, is to kinda do a debriefing almost on the
yeah,
horse farm here with people and talk about, how we're going to go forward from here, and what we can do to integrate it. And I think the horses would be a huge help in that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Horses are always so peaceful. Well, most of the time anyway.
Well, they're present.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't have another way of being. They don't have an intellect to manage the way that humans do, right? They don't have that kind of deductive thinking and those things that get in the way of us just allowing.
Yeah, just allow. I love that so much. So, what are some of the results that you have seen from clients as a result of taking the brain game?
I have 2 clients in particular, the first one, and then the one that I collaborated with my retreat on this year.
Mhm.
And I made a post of this fairly recently that we met at a training that was equine assisted life coaching.
Mhm.
And then I asked her to collaborate on this retreat, and she was all excited about that, so that was wonderful,
Yeah.
and then I said, "So, if you're gonna do this with me, you need to bring game."
Yes.
So we have the same basic information, and we did, and she loved that, and the retreat went well, but then as soon as the retreat was over, like, within a week, her dream, her intention just started coming. Just like she's like,
Mm.
"Something amazing happened today. Something amazing happened today. Something amazing happened today." She's like, "I think I just put that on my Facebook, like, something amazing happened today." So those 2 are my favorite. They just took off with the material, right? So it's so
Mhm.
fun to watch that transformation happen. She had all of the ideas, she had all of everything. She just didn't have the divine timing cycle.
Yeah.
And once she got that, then she was able to flow with it and allow it and
Mhm.
to experience so much joy in her life. The first woman is still in process of retiring from um, she's an assisted living owner, like, she owns 3 houses, but one of them was the house she lived in.
Mm,
So,
mhm.
she needed to remove herself from that, and she's done that, but
Yep.
she hasn't gotten entirely retired yet. So,
Yeah.
she's really taken off and gotten some pieces put together and is looking at her dream coming true as well. And then I've had other people that had much smaller intentions.
Mhm.
Well, smaller, um, less grandiose. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how to say that, but who have absolutely been able to improve their experience of life.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's so important to recognize too, no matter how big or small your
Right.
intention. That the divine timing cycle works with every intention, no matter what that intention might be. And if you just want to experience more peace, you can do that. If you want to retire, you can do that. If you want to create this beautiful, magical business, you can do that. I love that so much.
Yeah, so I've seen the whole mm, what's that called?
The spectrum.
Range.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rain.
spectrum, range, something, rainbow.
The rainbow. I love it. So, Danielle, tell us, what is your dream for the brain game?
My dream for the brain game is that people get to choose the way they wanna experience life. Yeah. And for me, I mean, being the peace girl
Mhm.
and the horse girl, those have my particular if you're taking it with me, that's gonna be my experience of going through the brain game. And that's the other wonderful thing about being a facilitator for the brain game is that every time you go through it, you deepen your understanding of it and you deepen what you believe can be possible with this for your life, for the people that you're leading through it, for all of the ongoing support that the whole community is providing. I'm just providing this little piece. And there's so many other voices and so many other perspectives that we can have a huge impact, but it only happens as we do it.
Yes. Beautiful. I love it, Danielle. Thank you so much. And what would you say to anybody who was considering taking the brain game and wasn't quite sure if it was a fit for them?
The brain game is life-changing information. It's a journey, and you will get out of it what you're supposed to get out of it. The main thing to remember is once you've made that initial investment, you can brain game as many times as you need to
Yep.
or want to, and you can come back to it in all different levels. We have a lot of support available. So if you're feeling pulled to it, do it.
Yeah. I love it. Beautiful. Oh, thank you, Danielle, so much for having this conversation with me today. For anybody who is looking to take the brain game and is drawn to Danielle, we'll make sure that there's a link to her website in the show notes. And of course, anybody who wants to become a brain game coach after you've taken the brain game, reach out to me and we'll make sure that you have everything you need. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks for having me.